How big does your city or town need to be for you to be successful with online dating? I get a lot of questions about this, and there's a lot of confusion about this, and there's a lot of disagreement about this. And I'm going to give you the definitive answers, or at least as close as definitive as I can give you, because every city and every region is different, but I'm going to do my very best based on my experience working with thousands of men over the past 13 years regarding online dating as Big Bad Black Dragon, me, Caleb Jones. On December 3rd, 2020, this December 3rd, I'm giving a free live webinar with a full Q&A at the end on online dating success in the 2020s, including right now during COVID and things like that. It is completely free. If you click the link below, you can register for free. If you're watching this video for some reason after December 3rd, if you still click that link, it'll still work. It will forward to the website where you can get the ultimate online dating manual, which will be released on December 3rd for just 5 days. That is the most comprehensive manual on online dating you can get anywhere, and it is also the most updated manual you can get anywhere. Okay, now, in terms of the size of your city, here's the general range in which this works. I have to be somewhat general, but I can be as specific general as I can. Can you say specific general? I'm not sure how that works. Your town needs to be at least 400,000 people. Your town where you live, within an hour radius of your home, needs to be at least 400,000 people for online dating to work moderately effectively. And I'll be honest with you, even at 4,000, it's going to be a little tough. It will work, but you're going to have to work it pretty hard. You're going to have to be a little less picky about how attractive the women are you have sex with or date. You're just going to have to do that if you live in a small town. If you live in a town that is smaller than 400,000 people, several options, and they're all bad. Option number one is that you focus your dating life on weekends, and I have guys in my audience who do this. They live in small towns, like 35,000 people, and what they do is they use online dating, but they use online dating in their nearest large city of 1 million or 2 million plus people. And they do all of their online dating there while they're there in their little towns. And then Friday afternoon, they hop in their car, they drive 3 hours, they get a hotel, they stay all weekend, and they get laid, they do all their dates, first dates, second dates, all that shit. And then on Sunday night or maybe early Monday morning, depending on their schedule, they drive all the way back home. That can work. Huge fucking hassle. I would shoot myself in the face if I had to do that, but some guys do that. That is an option. The other option, if you live in a town smaller than 400,000 people, is that you can use online dating, but as a supplement to other things, particularly social circle game. So if you live in a really small town, you're not going to be able to do night game. That's just not going to be an option. You could do day game to a degree, although right now with COVID, you probably can't do that. So guys in really, really small towns, it's really a social circle game play. So social circle game sprinkled in with some online dating, but online dating probably isn't going to do it for you 100% unless you live in an unusual circumstance. For example, maybe you live in a small town and certain times of the year, maybe it's a resort town, certain times of the year, it does very well. COVID notwithstanding, under normal conditions, maybe a bunch of people come for the summer, and you do your gaming in the summer, and then you take a break in the winter, or what have you. So those are your options when you're dealing with something at this level. Not very good, but it can work. So the next level up is 1 million people. 1 mil, which I know means 1,000, but fuck you, 1 million. So 1 million people. If your city has 1 million people, online dating will work. It will work much better than these guys, but it will still be a challenge. You're gonna have to work pretty hard. You're gonna have to be very patient. You're gonna have to put in a lot of numbers. You're gonna have to be on a lot of apps. You're gonna have to, again, kind of like these guys, drop your hotness standards a little bit for the type of women you like. You can't be super picky, but it will work. There are guys right now who live in cities of about 1 million or so who are making online dating work and are doing just fine. A lot of them are actually contributors to the ultimate online dating manual. They teach you how they do it. Kind of nice. So that's fine. 1 million is okay. The sweet spot, the ideal, is 2+ million people, and anything at 2 million or higher is good. You're good to go. If you have way more than 2 million, you're even better to go. So my nearest town where I live, the nearest city where I live is Portland, Oregon. That's about 2.2, 2.3 million people in terms of the entire geographic area, and I gotta make that clear. So when I'm talking about these population numbers, I am not talking about when you look up these cities on Wikipedia and it gives you this number for the population. That is a useless number. I'm talking about the greater area of your city. So the city of Portland has like 500,000 people in it, maybe 550, maybe 600,000, but the Portland area has 2.3 million. So if you live in Los Angeles, Seattle, London, whatever city you're in any country you're in, you don't want to look at the population number in Wikipedia. I'm talking about the actual geographic area, the entire metro area. That's what we're talking about here. So if you live in a geographic area of 2 million plus people, you are good to go. More than 2 million, you're even better off than I am. So you guys who live in like LA, Chicago, giant cities, you're way better off than I am, but I'm just good enough to be okay in terms of where I live. So that's kind of the breakdown here. Now, let's talk about where you live in terms of this. I already published an article on one of my blogs a while back on the different concentric rings within a given city area. And that's kind of a duplication of what we're talking about here. So, if you live in the city core, if you live in a larger city, you live in the downtown city core, online dating is going to be very, very easy for you. And the logistics are going to be fantastic. The problem is you're going to be spending more money. So it's one of those things where, often as is the case for Alpha Male 2.0s, depending on how close inside the core of the city you want to live, it's a balancing factor between your woman life and your financial life. Do you want to live somewhere really cheap with a high quality of living but have a tougher dating life? Live way out in the outer suburbs like I do. Do you want to live somewhere that is amazing for women and amazing for female logistics and amazing for night game, day game, social circle game and everything else? But it's kind of fucking expensive and the cost of living isn't that great and there's a pollution and there's riots because the collapsing Western world, blah, blah, blah. Then live downtown in a city core. Plus and minus, it really depends on you. Generally speaking, younger guys are going to tend to live more closer to the city core, which is fine. Older guys like me are going to tend to live further out. Matter of fact, in my case, it's kind of interesting. The older I've gotten, the further away from the cities I have grown, which kind of makes sense if you think about it. You're not going to want to party and shit all the time at downtown city areas when you're 50. I don't live in the rural areas. I've had prior videos about this. I actually live in the outer suburbs, so I'm actually on the edge of civilization here, which means for me, online dating is more logistically unfriendly. That means I have to travel more often in terms of first dates, second dates, FBs, MLTRs. I have to travel more often to get in contact with these women. I have to be more strategic about where I plan first dates, second dates, and so on. Meets like that. I have to be very careful in terms of traveling far enough to meet these women, making sure that I'm not making the women travel an hour to meet me, because if you do that, your odds of success in terms of first dates go down. You want to make it convenient not only for her, but convenient for you. So if you don't live in a downtown core, even if you live in a city of 2+ million people, you've got to be aware of this. You're going to have to be, you guys who live out in the suburbs like I do, you're going to have to be a little more flexible in terms of how far you're willing to drive, how much travel time you have to take for particularly for first and second dates. Once you start seeing a woman on a regular basis as an FB, MLTR, certainly an OLTR, this is less of an issue because she knows you already. But in terms of cold new women on online dating, you have to be aware of this. If you live in the downtown city core, you're good to go. Do whatever the fuck you want. You're fine. You don't have to worry about a thing. One last thing, and I'm a broken record about this. I've been saying this for 10 fucking years on my blogs. I'm going to say it again. If you live in a small town, smaller than 400K, and you hate that, and it sucks, and you can't get laid, and you're bitching and moaning about it all the time, fucking move. Don't give me this bullshit that you can't. But Caleb, I can't. Don't lie to me. You can't bullshit me. Yes, you can. I didn't say move tomorrow morning or move next month. I said move. If you need to sit down and make plans to move, to get the fuck out of there in 6 to 12 months, to get to a larger city, or at least nearer to a larger city, then do that. Don't sit out in the middle of nowhere and bitch and moan that you're not getting laid because there's no women out in bumblefuck Nebraska, population 7,000 people. That's stupid. Now, if you don't care about your woman life, do whatever you want. But if you do care, move. Now, let me calibrate that with one extra thing. As I've talked about in prior videos and prior articles, the Western world is collapsing, particularly the United States and Europe. And so we are entering into an era, as I've talked about in great detail, where maybe you don't want to live in a city. I wouldn't live in a city right now. You kidding? Much higher possibility for civil unrest, violence, and things like that. Americans in particular have to now get used to the reality of constant, never-ending civil unrest in their cities. Maybe you don't want to live in a city. I wouldn't. But in terms of your woman life, you should live at least close to a city in terms of the West. By the way, I'm talking about Western cities. If you live outside the West, fucking live in a city. Dude, you're fine. No problem. If you live in Asia or something, live in a city, man. You're good to go. But in terms of the West, America, Canada, Europe, the collapsing trifecta, don't live in a city, but live near a city. That's kind of what I do. I'm in the outer suburbs of the Portland area in Washington State. It's an easy drive for me to get to downtown Portland when I want to go, which is never, because Portland's a shithole. But you understand my point. Just understand these logistics and don't make excuses about your logistics. Please, for fuck's sake, don't do that. The Alpha Male 2.0 is location independent. You can move wherever you want. You can live wherever you want. I can't move should not be an excuse. And if that is an excuse for you, my God, do you need to get my material and get a location independent business going so you can be Alpha 2.0 and live wherever the fuck you want. December 3rd, link is below. Register for the free webinar with a full Q&A with me. And on that same day, the Ultimate Online Dating Manual will be released. I will see you at that webinar. Just click the link below. I'll see you later. Bye.